Hey guys, Harris here, and hopefully you guys are doing well. So today we're gonna talk about the tuples. Basically, tuple is the most easiest data structure as compared to our list and a dictionary. See, list and a dictionary, those are a bit complex as compared to tuples because those are the most used in our data science, in our machine learning, in our web development, in our journey of a Python, right? So let's talk about the tuple first, right? So I would like to make it again and again, right? I would like to make it clear again and again. So what is tuple, right? Well, tuple in Python are immutables, which means you cannot modify the element once they are created. So basically for tuple, you're going to use for the specific region where you have to use for the constant, where you have to declare variables which are immutable, which are not changeable in the future, right? So let's start with the addition, right? So we cannot change those variables. We cannot change those element inside those variables, right? So all the data point will remain constant. So if there's a 1 2 3 4 5 6 will remain same, right? We won't be able to change, but we will able to perform some operations like multiplications, like concatenation, which is basically additions, right? So let's do it, right? So let me show you A. Does A stand for our 1, 2, and 3, where B stand for 4, 5, and 6, and open and close parenthesis, which is basically tuples, right? So now I'm going to add both of them, A and B, and I'm going to use a print function to print all those output. Now you can see over here we get 1 2 3 4 5 6. So basically we are not performing a addition operation between the matrices. So if you want to do matrices, I'm going to show you the numpy array, which is more about a 2D and 3D array. So basically I'm doing the concatenations, basically using those elements from A and B. I'm just inputting those into a same, like the what we did on a union, right? Basically 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? Now let's move on. So basically now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do multiplications of those lists. So basically I'm gonna multiply those 1 2 3, and I'm gonna plot that 1 2 3 4 time, right? So I'm gonna iterate, and I'm gonna plot this 4 time, right? So 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So basically it's gonna be in a continuous order till 4 time, right? So basically A, that is 1 2 3, B 4, and C equal to A asterisk B, which stand for the multiplications of our tuple with the B, that is our multiplier, right? So B is our multiplier. Okay, so I'm gonna print C. Now you can see over here 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Right guys, so I'm gonna remove this, right? This is our none of the use. So now next I'm gonna do is basically basically let me multiply it now. So now I'm gonna do basically gonna multiply those element, right? So I'm gonna multiply all those element inside our tuples with a multiplier, and we're gonna plot the result, right? So it's basically very easy. Let's say like A equal to 1 2 1 2 4 10, so 10, right, and 20, right? So let's run this, right? So I will get more block over here, and I will say like multi, that's our multiplier, that will be like 5. Let's say 5 is our multiplier, so 5 gonna multiply all of those elements inside our tuple, right? So let's say result equal to tuple tuple, right? So tuple, and we're gonna multiply element, that's gonna be iterate then multiplier, right? Multiplier for I in A. So basically A is our tuple, right? So I'm gonna call the result back again. So I'm gonna return the result. Now you can see the output over here: 5 10 20 50 and 100, right? So basically 5 been multiplied with 1 2 4 10 and 20. So basically multiplication is possible inside the element, inside the tuple, but what we're gonna do, we're gonna use a for loop. So what we did over here, we have casted a tuple, right? So we made a new data, which is basically result, our data our variables, which is basically our tuple, right? So we mentioned it through a tuple, which are casting, right? And you can see over here open and close parentheses, right? Then we use for loop. So I, right, I for I in A, which is iterating inside the A but multiplying through the multiplier, right? So that's I is iterating inside 1 2 4 10 and 20 and multiplying with the help of multiplier each of those elements. Okay, so let's move on. So let's move on with the division, right? So I'm gonna use the same, right, and will remain same. We're gonna use a for loop, right, and I will use more block over here. I will say like a division, that's a div, and I'm gonna use this time 5, not 5, let's use 10 this time, right? So let's say division, right? So I'm gonna use a for loop again. So but for that I'm not gonna use a list, right? I'm gonna use a tuple because the rule is the tuple today, right? So tuple, well, let's say I divided by div, right, for I in A, right? So I'm gonna run this first. I'm gonna check there should be no bug. So division, now you can see over here. So basically what happened is same thing. Division is our data types, that is basically our variables, right? So tuple, right, and then we have a tuple casting. Then I will say I, that was basically stand for those all the 1 2 3 sorry 1 2 4 10 and 20, and division, which is basically divided, and there's a symbol over here, division symbol, and divisor, sorry, those are the divisor 10, right? And I'm gonna use for loop for I, so each of those value in A, inside the A. So this operation which perform for I, which is iterating, so inside each of them in A, right? So we are using iterator over here, right? So there we go, multiple iterate. So let's move on. Let's move into subtraction now. Okay, so I'm gonna make first a data tuple, right? So I will say 1. No, let's not say 1. Let's make it some complicated, right? 200. Let's say 350. Okay, and I will say B, and I want to make it more hilarious. 1 1 1. Okay, so if we subtract each of them, basically only one value should be removed from them, right? So basically now I'm going to use a for loop, right? So basically I'm going to declare subtractions, right? Then I will say tuple, 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 right? Tuple, then I will after declaring the tuple I will say like x minus y, right? So x is the iterator which go inside those 10 20 and sorry 10 200 and 350, right? And our b, that will be 1 1 and 1, right? So now I'm gonna use a for loop for, right, for x comma y in, right, and zip, right? I'm gonna use a zip. So after that I'm gonna mention like let's say A, right? Then I will say comma B, right? So I'm gonna pack them. After packing them, I'm gonna call them. Then you can see over here 9 199 and 349, guys. So it's really super easy. But the main thing over here is our for loop. If we know how to use a for loop, basically in future you will deal with the for loop, and all the algorithm is only on for loop, nested loops, functional programming, class, object, right, and of course relational database, which is more about the SQL queries. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed this videos, and I'll see you next time, right? Cheers guys.